What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Anthony Joshua. Johnny Nelson, get this. The former cruiserweight champion Johnny Nelson has informed us his thoughts on Anthony Joshua, and he says Anthony Joshua is done. Wow. He says verbatim, he says, I do now think he's done. And I don't like saying it because I like AJ, and people will see that and say he's out of order. When I'm asked about AJ, I give an honest answer. But the thing is, time tells its own story. I was asked when he boxed Usyk the last time when I was out in Saudi, what do you think will happen if he loses? And I said, if Anthony Joshua loses, he'll walk away. I said that because the problem is he's not going to be able to handle not being a world champion, and now you're seeing the breakdown. At one point, he was boxing in 3 months' time. Now he's boxing in December. Remember, it's the first time he's had such a backlash from a fight that he won against Jermaine Franklin. The reason I saw it now he's done is because Anthony Joshua has been through every experience going. He's a 33-year-old man. He's not a boy turning into a man. He's a man, and he's still not making those rookie mistakes now at 33 years of age. Those are the words of Johnny Nelson, and let me counterpunch. I don't know if he's done, because I think done means exactly that. If he's done, he should walk away. Is he probably in his best of prime? No. But then if you're looking at comparing Anthony Joshua from a boy to a man, he's always been a man. He started as a young man. He didn't start as a kid. He started as a young man into boxing, just like Deontay Wilder did. You know, it would be different if he started the age of 8 or 12 or 15, or 16, 17. He started as a young man, okay? So the mistakes that he's making, they're probably just habits that he's always going to have. And I think the test of time versus the quality of opponents showed why he lost those fights. Those two Usyk fights were lost by him, where I think it was lack of endurance, lack of anticipation, lack of energy, and a lot of other things. A mental aspect as well had a deep play in that fight. But then again, he was fighting someone that don't break, that's undefeated, that doesn't know defeat like that. Alexander Usyk is the best in the world, and I think just because you lose from the best of the world or to the best of the world, I don't think you should hang your head down. But is there signs of Anthony Joshua, though, that Johnny Nelson is talking about? Is some of that true? Yes, it is. The breakdown after that last Usyk fight, the breakdown, the uproar and meltdown of the shit after the Jermaine Franklin fight. It was almost that he couldn't perform the way that he wanted to perform, so he had to express that anger or use that energy in another way. That does make you scratch your head about AJ, because if AJ would have stopped Jermaine Franklin, you wouldn't have had all that ruckus going on after that fight. I don't believe that would have been the case. So it's a lot you do question with Anthony Joshua. Now, should he be finished and hang up the gloves? I mean, he could if he wanted to. But I think he's with Derek James for a reason. And he has to make sure that this is what he really wants to do. Because if he doesn't, he may end up doing further things to that matter, like these meltdowns or these breakdowns, these wide variety of emotions that you've seen him with lately between last year and this year, you may see some of the same. But to say that he's done, I doubt that. I think if anything, if AJ was knocking people out and he did show signs of like mental challenges, right? He would be looked at as someone like Mike Tyson or Ika Barabuchi, go figure, another Nigerian fighter. But Anthony Joshua, I think he's trying to find himself. I think he's trying to at least do the opposite, actually, of quitting or saying done. He's trying to stay around. He's trying to get that money. That's what he said that, in that Jermaine Franklin interview, the press conference. He said, hey, yeah, I'm doing it for the money. He's not a champion anymore. But Johnny Nelson did bring up a good point. Can Anthony Joshua really stand to be in the sport without being a champion? He's been there so long. He's collected these belts and then he's lost them. Then he got them back. Then he's lost them again. In that order. So a lot of things that Johnny Nelson said, are pragmatically true. But to say that he's done, no. I think he's trying to stay along based on the way he's fighting now. But that fighting, I don't even think is satisfactory to him. I got the win, but at what point? At what sacrifice? I think his own ego is like, dude, you should have won that fight. You should have. What's up? And I think that causes a lot of anger and backlash, internally. And I think that's what reflected on the night that he beat Jermaine Franklin or the other night that he lost to Alexander Usyk. So I think, those type of things happen because he's normally not that fighter. And how everyone or a lot of people react when things don't go the way it's supposed to, In Joshua's mind, Joshua should beat Usyk in Saudi Arabia. Why? Because he beat Andy Ruiz in Saudi Arabia. Okay, that was his safe haven. That was his spot of redemption. And he knew, okay, if I bring it back here, this should happen based on tradition. And when that tradition or that thing didn't come to pass, I think that's what the reason for the meltdown was. But anyway, you guys tell me what you think of Johnny Nelson claiming that Anthony Joshua is done in the sport of boxing. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace!